The Incan Empire originated in the Andes mountain range of modern-day Peru. They controlled an empire that spanned from Ecuador to southern Chile. At its height, nearly 12 million people lived within the Incan Empire. Evidence suggests the early 16th century brought new diseases that would eventually kill as much as 70% of the population. This led to political unrest and the appointment of a new emperor. In 1533, the Spanish explorer Francisco Pizarro made contact with the weakened empire. According to primary sources, the Incan were uneasy with the European explorers from the beginning. Despite this, they could not fight European conquest in their weakened state.
In 1528, an influx of foreign disease from the Old World kills the Inca emperor, his designated successor, and his second-in-command. There is ensuing confusion of who becomes the next emperor when his two sons named Huascar and Atahualpa fight for the throne. The country then falls into 4 years of civil war before meeting any Europeans. In 1532, Francisco Pizarro and his group of conquistadors come through the war-torn country, confusing both Atahualpa and Huascar, who couldn't tell if they're an ally or foe. Atahualpa and his forces eventually win a decisive victory against his brother's armies and manage to capture Huascar, leaving the empire on shaky footing but intact. In this setting, Atahualpa plans a meeting with Pizarro in a strategically chosen city where he feels the most secure from the mysterious Europeans. Atahualpa and his spies heavily underestimate the effectiveness of horses, steel, and gunpowder when used by trained military men. Pizarro and his men attack and kidnap Atahualpa and ransom for vast quantities of silver and gold. To protect his fragile position, Atahualpa kills his brother Huascar. A few weeks later, Pizarro kills Atahualpa and installs a new emperor who submits to Spain.
Amidst all this commotion, Incan customs such as the mita system of forced labor were shaped to fit Spanish motives. Interestingly, it wasn't often the Spanish enforcing labor of the native population. Viceroys such as Francisco de Toledo would charge native nobles called curacas with conscription of labor. Only these curacas and the ill were exempt from labor. Laborers called mitayos were between the age of 18 and 50. 1/7 of the adult population was forced to labor in the mines. Population boomed in Potosi, rising to about the level of Naples or Milan at the time. Mitayos were forced to work 12 hours a day with 1 hour to eat. However, once the mines were too deep, they switched to a 6-day system. Mitayos were underground for 6 days at a time, and then had Sundays off. Some even worked their day off to obtain silver for themselves. Spanish abuse of the mita system shows how the Colombian exchange and the subsequent Spanish desire for silver had a torturous effect on the Incas. While the Spanish distanced themselves from the cruelty of the mines, the Incas suffered the consequences. The Inca Empire has been nearly completely eradicated. Although nearly 45% of the Peruvian population today shares an Incan lineage, the rich culture of this great empire is only lived by a few.